Hello, and welcome to another episode of Roll for Lit. And today, a wrap up of everything that I read in the month of April. April was a weird month because, we kept getting snow. So it was like nice days and then weird snowy days, nice days and then weird snowy days. As such, my reading was pretty high. Like, I actually got quite a fair bit done this month, and I think it was kind of like highlighted and kind of like reflective of the month as weather wise because I got more physical reading done than I have in quite a long time. I feel like, I would say probably like maybe like 70% of my reading is more audiobook than anything else. So, to get a little bit of a change and sit down and get a few books physically read. Because I feel like normally I only get to, as far as physical books, I think I probably only get to like maybe five a month on like a really good month. And it kind of like also depends on the type of things I'm reading. But yeah, so it was a pretty good mix of audiobooks and, actual physical or ebooks. So yeah, let's get into it. First off, Abraxia, Spear of the Ever-Chosen by Chris Thurston. Now this is Age of Sigmar novel. I don't know a lot about Age of Sigmar. I know I would say a introductory amount of Age of Sigmar, and I've read a few Age of Sigmar books. And Age of Sigmar is, Warhammer Fantasy's current iteration. Warhammer Fantasy is a game that you play with other people and have your armies fight and you roll dice and all that stuff. But there's a huge line of fiction if you're unaware. I feel like I talk a lot about Warhammer 40,000. I will talk about that later. But the fantasy version of that is Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Some of these books are really easy to pick up and just kind of go through and fly through without really having a lot of foreknowledge. So I have most of the time when I've read an Age of Sigmar book, it's been pretty easy to kind of understand and comprehend and know what's going on. This one was a little different. It was a little different. Because there was a lot of stuff here that I was like, wait, what, who's that? Oh, okay. And for the most part, eventually I kind of like figured it out, and it was pretty easy going and pretty easy to get into once you got into it. But it did take a little bit of a curve as far as like getting properly into what was happening. This is also from a lot of perspective of chaos, which, as you can imagine, is quite chaotic, and they mostly just destroy things and do harm and be evil. So, there is, there's a way of writing those characters that it doesn't become tedium, and there's ways of wording it that occasionally becomes tedious. I think this book really kind of rides the line, and I think is a good book, and I enjoyed it. Not one of my favorites. Action was well done, but there was a lot of it, and it's one of those overly descriptive action sequences where all of a sudden you can just completely lose yourself and forget where the hell you're at, which is always a problem in heavy books with action, where you're like, wait, oh, my attention drifted a minute. Where are they now? What are they doing? How are they doing this? What? I don't know. So, yeah. Then I listened to Beneath Perfection, the official Tremors novelization. Now, if you don't know me, I am a Tremors lover. I love Tremors. It's like one of my favorite movies and one of my favorite movie franchises of all time. And I was really excited to get to this audio book. I have it on ebook as well, and I did read a little bit of the ebook and was liking it. But I got the audio specifically because it is voiced by Jorn Gavoyich, who did the kill counts on the Dead Meat channel for the Tremors series, and is a person who is another big Tremors fan. So it was cool to see that he was doing the audiobook for the novelization. So I was like, hell yeah, I got to get into this. And this is a really good novelization. It is really smart in the way that it adds little things here and there that kind of like expand like the universe a bit and ties in some of the later sequels, which I think was really good. There's like a few little one-off lines where if you've seen the other movies, you'd be like, oh, they're referencing this other thing that happens in Tremors 4 or Tremors 2 or blah, blah, blah. And, me being a Tremors weirdo, I loved all of that. But also, it's just really well written and a well conceived novelization. This is off of an earlier script, so there is some stuff that is expanded and changed and altered from the actual film. So I thought that was a worthwhile, getting it for that alone. And yeah, audiobook was great. I liked it a lot, and I had a good time with it. So yeah. A few characters that weren't in the original film. And what happens then? Oh, they die. Next up is The Farm by Richard Haig. This was recently reintroduced to the world by Valancourt's Paperbacks from Hell line. It's funny because they kind of are trickling those. They're really trickling them. Because sometimes you think they're done with them and then they come out with another one. You're like, what? Some of them are good. Others are why this one? I thought The Abyss by J.R. Cunningham was so unbelievably boring that I DNF'd it. And this one is one that I was happy to see reissued because it was an Animal Attack book that is highly, it's got crazy artwork for the images for the covers and has a reputation of being particularly nasty. And yeah, there were some awesome nasty murdery bits in this. I will say real big asterisks if you're looking to pick this up. It is fucking creepy as fuck. There was some real gross writing in the first half of this book. So much so that I was like, oh my god, can I even get through this? Because it was bad. And it's bad when it's the introduction, which was by Will Erickson. It's hey, just so you will not like a lot of this book at first. And I was like, oh no. And warning about Richard Lehman-esque writing, and you're like, oh god, I know what that's gonna be. It's gonna be bad. And yeah, it was fucking disgusting. It was really, really gross writing. And didn't like that. And then all of a sudden, bam, the animal attacks happen, and it's beautiful, man. It's so fucking good. It's so good. The animal attack stuff in it is so good, and such a thrill, and so mean-spirited and gory, and whoa, it was beautiful. So I like the second half of this book, and if I ever do reread this, and I do actually think there is a chance that I would one day reread this, I'm just gonna skip to the halfway point when the pigs start eating everybody. But, this is one of those books where it's oh, the water's contaminated, and now your pigs are gonna kill you. And it's a farm, so there's gonna be evil dogs, and there's gonna be evil geese, and other stuff. And it's whoa! Somebody gets their nards caved in by a freaking goat. You're like, damn, that goat done rammed that dude in the dick. And then they all eat him. It was stupid and fun. I really want to read the sequel because it takes place in the city, and they kind of soft introduce what it's going to be at the very end of this book, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that sounds amazing. But I'm also deeply afraid that there's gonna be more horrible writing. This is one of those books that I'm just so split on because it's real gross. I don't really recommend it to most people. But if you're a person who can make it through that, or just skip, if you're a person who is just cool with just skipping to the good parts, and you'll be willing to just skip halfway through this book, then yeah, you should read it for the animal carnage. Just don't stay for the characters, because that's very good. Then I read Saurian by William Shaw. This was a surprise. This was not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be whoa, it's Jazz-a-Dazzin'. They're coming at me. Oh my goodness. But it's this weird thing about a man who could turn into a dinosaur. That's the villain. And you're like, what? The man can turn into a dinosaur, but he's also a man? You're like, whoa, crazy. And it starts out with it's like this coming of age story, and like this kid's got a bad life. He ain't not having a good life at the start. And I think it has a lot of interesting things to say about things like alcoholism, and it is one of the and like what it's like to grow up in a traumatic childhood, what it's like to have an event happen that people don't believe you in, and what it's like to like find other people who have gone through traumatic situations and bond with them and like learn to become better people and self-forgiveness while also being a great animal attack books. William Scholl, I think, is one of the undersung heroes of the Paperback from Hell era because I have really liked all of his stuff. And he is a gay man writing in the Paperbacks from Hell era, which is a breath of fresh air because, there is a little bit more to these books than just something like The Farm, which doesn't have anything to say, and it's just the violence is cool, but it's gross. This one was a 5-star read because it has everything you would want from one of these books and has a little bit of heart to it, and it's so much awesome action and carnage at the end. Next up, my first Warhammer 40,000 one of the bunch. This was Chem Dogs by Callum Davis. Now, the Savlar Chem Dogs are like are one of the military regiments in Warhammer 40,000. Warhammer 40,000 is a franchise where people are at war all the time in space, and everyone's miserable and the worst. Like, there's no good people in this. This one is one of those books that there's especially very few good people in. The Savlar Chem Dogs are basically like these people who like are conscripted from prison, like a prison world, and they are able to basically earn time off their sentence and kind of like get to be free if they agree to serve in this penal regiment, and they are allowed to loot whatever they find on the battlefield, and like they're all very much addicted to chems and drugs, and like they are set on these specific like drugs in order to like kind of like up their aggression and stuff like that, and they are like just like such scumbags that it's like so fun to read. And like I loved the characters of all the chem dogs in this, and like every time you like read them I was like, oh my god, I love these freaking scumbags so much. They're so much fun to read about. They have no fucking morals and they're just scum. I was like, yes, my people. Scum. Anyways, and they are like kind of kept in line by this guy who is a commissar who's like kind of keeps them in line and keeps them on a mission, and he is also just a completely horrible monster. This book is also very funny because there's like a line where it's like someone is like, you're gonna eat those words, and she's like, I can't, I ain't got no teeth. I just thought that was so funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can eat those words, and it's like, I literally can't. I ain't got no teeth. It's so good. Her teeth has got torn out by like the commissar guy because she was mouthing back to him. They're not. No one's good. Everyone's bad and terrible, and I loved it. I'm a scumbag. I loved it. Rats. Next up, I didn't just randomly say rats. Next up was Rats, Night of Terror. This was another novelization. Now, to be fair, I haven't even seen the movie that this is based off of, but I know that the end of the movie is like, oh my god, oh, it's a person who's a rat. Like, you've seen the poster, and it's like a rat in a freaking hazmat suit being like, I'm gonna rat you. I don't know if they say that. Is that what things evil rats would be? I'm gonna rat you. This is one of those Brad Carter novelizations. Now, a lot of those come from Severin Films. I have had a mixed relationship with them, to be perfectly honest. I have not liked a lot of them that I've read, but I did quite enjoy this one. I don't know what it was. I think it was because, one, it's sleazy. It's definitely a sleazy book, but it's like sleazy because it's in a post-apocalypse. I don't know what it is, but it's like if it's sleazy post-apocalypse, you could be like, okay, yeah, people are sleazy scumbags. I get it. You know, it's there's less on you to be like, yeah, I am feeling uncomfortable because I don't know if this is something that the author believes in or they're trying to write a character. It's like that's one of the hardest parts about like reading like trashier fiction where you're like, are they trying to write a character who is terrible or are they trying to like paint some worldview that they have that is terrible? And it's really kind of hit or miss because sometimes it's like what, others like what. So this one is like it doesn't get to the novelization of the actual film because the actual film is like all these biker dudes showing up at a place and being like, "Yo, we're gonna loot it for technology," and then all of a sudden the rats are like, "Bam! We're gonna eat your brains, bitch! I'm gonna kill you!" Nom, 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 nom. So they're trying to get him, and you know, as you do, if you're killer rats, and then they finally escape whatever's happening, and then they find out, oh my god, there's also human rats. But a lot of his book is about like what it's like before that. Like the actual novelization of the film is like very slim amount of the book. Most of it is filled with just like this weird post-apocalypse world building about like what it's like to be in rat people society, and I actually really liked it for the most part. Like there were some parts where I'm like, all right, I'm good. I don't need to read about rat people orgies. Okay, I'm good. But other times it's like I'm really interested in the socio-political climate of these rat people. It's just the dichotomy of novels. And also when the rats, the normal rats, the ones who are causing the night of terror, those rats, when they kill people, it's fucking gross, man. And I was like, I'm here for it. This is gross. It was just disgusting. I liked it. Well, that was good. I'm a weirdo. Croc by David James. Another animal attack book. It was about what animal? I don't know. Could it be croc? It could be. And it is. Croc by David James. So I thought, it literally on the cover of this one, it says, in the tradition of Night of the Crabs. This is not in the tradition of Night of the Crabs. This is basically a pretty well done story about a guy who frickin' gets trapped in a sewer, is being chased by a crocodile, and everyone trying to figure out how to get down there and save him. But like a lot of it is just this crocodile like stalking this man, and this crocodile in the New York sewers, of course, obviously, you know. If it's gonna be a crocodile, where's it gonna be? It's gonna be in the New York sewers. We all know it's real. We all know. You all know it. I've seen them. I've never been to New York, but if I were, I would not go to the sewers because that would be stinky and gross. But if I did end up in the sewers, I would know there was crocodiles there. And also Jason Voorhees in that scene of Jason Goes Manhattan. Anyway, Jason takes Manhattan. He doesn't go to Manhattan. I mean, he does, but anyways, this is mostly on a boat. Anyways, we don't need to talk about this. It's a completely different thing. Anyways, this is a more, run-of-the-mill, pretty typical animal attack book, but is written pretty well and pretty interesting. And when the croc really goes at it on people near the end of the book, it's like, hell yeah. But that's like, for like, maybe about 10 pages. Most of it is like a chase of this guy trying to, survive, and like all these people being like, is it scientifically possible for a crocodile to live in the New York sewers? And a lot about just how the New York sewers work. And I was like, this is fascinating. I'm learning stuff about this. I thought I was going to read about crocodile eating a man. Now I'm learning about what an outflow is. I forget, but I did learn it at one point. Going from crocs to crocodile. This is Crocodile Tears by Kim Newman, or as it says on the book, Jack Yoville. This is part of the Dark Future series. This is interesting. I really liked this when it got going and I kind of really got into the nitty gritty of what is going on in this. I will say that I think that it's very dated. This is about a dark future that is written by somebody who is progressive in the 80s, but 80s progressivism and modern day progressivisms are not the same. It's getting there, but it's not quite there. So there's a number of very dated and kind of like a little bit offensive stuff in this book. But I think the writing is strong enough to get you through those, and it's supposed to be a dark future anyway, so like you can always take that as being like, damn, it's just another example of future dark. This one is such a weird book because it's like this one lady survives an attack by this weird Josephite guy. He's a demon man, and he's taken over Salt Lake City, Utah, and basically like turning it into his own paradise of evil demons to bring back the demon apocalypse or something. He's we don't really know what his plan is, but we know he's evil, and he's trying to get some evil shit to go down in Salt Lake City, Utah. Although they changed the name, and I forget, Deseret. They changed the name to Deseret. Anyways, I don't know why, because it's the desert. And it's like, yeah, oh wow, Deseret. It's like, wow, you're stupid. It's probably got some fancy smanchy reason. Anyways, so this girl survives this. She's like in this like biker gang. She survives the attack by this guy. And then it's her like kind of like coming back to repair and understand what her own psyche is being repaired from after this encounter. And then, you know, she finds this doctor guy who like gives her all these cybernetic enhancements, and then she has like a big battle where she's like a cyborg, and then after that she ascends to like godhood, and it's like this evil guy in Deseret is like kept sending people after her, and like each time it's like a different type of person trying to kill her, and she survives it, and then it's like a change up to like her being a different like level of consciousness basically, as she's like powering up to come back and like eventually in a future book. I know they never finished the series, unfortunately, but in a future book, I assume she was going to come back and go like, "Kaka!" and get Elder Seth, get him with his powers. But like, so it's like this lady. He's like, oh, she's a cyborg now. Whoa, she's got to fight all these soldiers. Damn, these soldiers got messed up. She survived, and then like, oh, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna send after the soldiers? They're gonna send the craziest serial killer after her. And you're like, whoa. And this serial killer is like in this big facility. And I don't know how or why or like legally they should have not been able to do this, but Michael Myers is there, and it's just normal Michael Myers, and so is Jason Voorhees. And to be perfectly honest, I have read many Jason Voorhees novels, and this might be the best writing of Jason Voorhees. Make that work. I mean, it's pretty simple to understand because those Jason Voorhees novels are usually very, very bad. And Michael Myers has never really got like a pure novel. I think he's got novelizations, but he's never got like a pure novel appearance. So I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, this is good writing of Michael Myers. But also, why are you here, Michael Myers? Anyways, so the serial killer, and then she survives that, and then she's going into godhood, and then he's like, ah, oh, man, I'm so mad, I'm gonna send a super uber demon after you now. And then she's having like a crazy cosmic battle with the demon at the end. And you're like, whoa. Anyways, everyone is like, why is he doing? Then I read World of Warcraft Cycle of Hatred. This is a preview. This is supposed to kind of like lead into the original World of Warcraft, which is a MMORPG. I used to play World of Warcraft back in the day, especially like back when this book is like written. I really thought that this book was going to be like more of a, you know, a slide into like how these people like hated each other again. And like there's some good writing here, and I like some of the slice of life stuff, but like a lot of it was just like, and the demons, that's the reason why everyone's fighting. There is a cool scene though where a man's head explodes from a Warhammer, and I thought that was cool. A guy just shows up and he's like, bam, and then the guy's head goes, bam, and then like the guy's like, oh my god, that guy, he fucking crushed that man's head, and everyone was like, this is badass, we're not gonna fight you no more. But yeah, World of Warcraft, it's like this orcs, this humans, they have struck a uneasy alliance, and this is kind of like showing how the alliance kind of falls apart. Spoiler alert, it's a lot of demons, and I was kind of bored with the demons. I was like, you're doing more interesting stuff with your character writing. I don't need the demons, you know? I don't need them. We don't need the demons. It's more interesting if it's just like normal reasons why alliances fall apart. But I guess that's more of an adult book, and this is, you know, that. Here's a bunch of comic books. I read a bunch of comic books. First up, Duke Volume 1, Knowing is Half the Battle. This is about the guy, Duke, from G.I. Joe. I don't really care about G.I. Joe, but this was fun. It was fine. It was fine. There's some cool action. It's like kind of like a PG-13 G.I. Joe. It was very funny because, I mean, this is bad. I mean, PTSD is not funny, but it is kind of funny when the man is having flashbacks to Starscream, you know, the Transformer who goes, I'm Starscream, the most obvious evil bitch of all time. Anyways, he's having flashbacks because Starscream just showed up and crushed his friend. And I just think that's very funny. That Starscream just like shows up and is like, oh, scream, and just like crushes, just pops his friend like a balloon and then goes off and does whatever he was doing. And I just thought that was so funny. I'm a terrible person. But the idea that he's like, I must destroy Starscream. He squashed my friend. And like it's literally like this panel of like Starscream going like, ha 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 ha, and then you just see the blood flying out of his hand and like, he done squished that man. Skybound presents After School Volume 1. This is a horror anthology comic, and it was quite good. I thought this was one of the better ones. I would definitely recommend it. There was some really cool, interesting creators, and a cool creative vibe. What? Oh, my cat is yelling at me. Bloodshot Salvation, Volume 1, The Book of Revenge. This is my very first Valiant comic. I don't know, Bloodshot. I don't know what's up with him. He's got the Japanese flag on him. I think. Apparently, I don't know. I don't know. He's not Japanese. I thought maybe Bloodshot was Japanese of some sort. That's why he had the Japanese flag on him. But no, he's just a man who's very white with a big red circle on his chest. And he shoots real good. Apparently he's got some nanites. Anyways, he's got a kid now. Wow! And the kid is getting bloodshot powers. And you're like, wow! This is pretty good. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know nothing about Bloodshot. I had a good time reading it. James Bond Hammerhead. James Bond. This is actually a really fun and exciting James Bond comic because it understands that James Bond is a monster and that he is like upholding an imperialist system that's bad, that the British government is bad in a lot of ways, and he's upholding that. And I thought that was really good. There's a lot of fun one-liners. The action is really well done. And it had a really good story to it that kind of understood. Hey, sir was interrupting my video because you want to take my Warhammer books, you mean old kitty. Anyways, this was good. Judge Dredd Titan. Apparently, the moon of Titan is where they put this big prison for all the judges in the Judge Dredd universe. Didn't know that. Anyways, something crazy's going on. Judge Dredd's gotta go check it out. I thought it was fun. That's cool. There's some weird monsters, some cool, political things going on, and I enjoyed it, even though I didn't really have any idea of where this sits in the Judge Dredd timeline, because I have no fucking idea what the Judge Dredd timeline is. Anyways, here's a cat. Ow! You're rude. Night Trap. Somebody will find you, Night Trap. Nobody will find you, Night Trap. Anyone played the Sega Genesis game, Night Trap? This is like a weird adaptation of that game. I don't think it's a legal adaptation. I think they just took a lot of inspiration from that game. Anyways, nobody cares about Night Trap. This was a Cullen Bunn comic. I like Cullen Bunn. He is a quite good author of the horror tale and the horror comic book. And yeah, this was just kind of a typical slasher where a bunch of things happen to a bunch of, kind of likable but not really likable teenagers. And you're like, damn, are they gonna escape a slashing? You'll have to read it, find out. At what point a man loses a leg, but then there's another panel and he's grown the leg back. So I think that guy's gonna be fine. I think if you can grow a leg back, I don't think Jason's gonna do much to you. Next up, The Theater. This is a horror comic as well, but it's kind of overwritten. There's a lot to this, and there's a lot of writing, and you're like, I feel like you could show don't tell with a lot of these. A very, very wordy comic book anthology. It was fine. It was fine. Some of them were good. Some of them were like, meh. It was fine. There's things like, there's an evil theater. And there's like a story, The wraparound segment is like there's things happening in this theater. How's this theater run? What are all the people up to? And then you quote unquote watch the movie that the people are there to watch, and then bam! Whoa! That movie is the story. It's fine. It's fine. Never heard of this. You'll never hear about this again. Legion of the Damned by Rob Sanders, another Warhammer 40,000 novel. This one, they should have called it Legion of the Damned. It's a very good book. But the Legion of the Damned, they do not show up until like maybe the last 20 pages. And there's a lot of people online not very happy that the fact that the guys do not show up until the last 20 pages. And I'm like, but the rest of the book is really interesting and pretty damn good. It's got some of the best action I've read in a Warhammer book in a long time. It's really, really cool. But, everyone online is like, but where's the Legion of the Damned? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't name it. It's a bad name because those guys, they don't show up until the very end. It's mostly about these really mangry guys who are like, "Rrr." That's just Warhammer. Rrr. That's my review of all Warhammer. Men going, "Rrr." My first Battletech novel, Decision at Thunder Rift by William H. Keith Jr. This was like Dune, but if Dune was good, I hate Dune. Dune's stupid. I fucking despise Dune. I like this book though. This was fun. I liked it. It was cool. There are these guys who are like, there's like this planet that is in the middle of basically two very important, political strata, and they are basically being used by both parties and are basically just going to be a staging point for things to happen farther along in the universe. So it's just like this planet that's in between two mega giants, and like neither of them care that much about it, but they don't want the other guy to have it. So this planet is just stuck in this very like kind of Game of Thrones-y machinations of this one specific area. And there's robots, and the robot fights are really cool. The robot fights are so cool. You're like, wow! I don't know what you were like, but I was like, wow! These robots are freaking cool, and the fucking cool shit's happening. Bam! Anyways, if you're like at heart like a 5-year-old child, you probably will like this. But also the fact is, I thought the actual writing and some of the political machinations were actually well done and entertaining. So yeah, I had a good time with this. I would definitely read more, which is good because I have like 60 of them from a Humble Bundle like ages ago, and I was like, why did I do this Humble Bundle? And this is I did that Humble Bundle like 3 years ago, and I think this is the first book I read from it. And I read the audiobook. I didn't even read the ebook that I got from the Humble Bundle. C'est la vie! And last, but certainly not least, is The Sterling Throne by David Gaynor. This is one of the Dragon Age novels. It was really good. I really was surprised. I mean, I played Dragon Age Origins. This is like kind of like a bit of like far back in the history setup for where the world is at in Dragon Age Origins. And I really like this. I thought it was really, really good. I think this would be a book that even people who are just like not into Dragon Age as a franchise are just looking for a good, fantasy novel. I think this is really, really good. It's got like a little bit of grimdark. Hey, stay away from the books. Stay away. You do not need to be near the books. Sir, leave my books alone, sir. Very rude, Claude. Very rude. Anyways, this has like a really good character writing in it, and characters go through arcs, and it's not good arcs. They become worse people by the end of this book, and I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed like the exploration of the loss of innocence and how war kind of creates monsters of us all, and I was not expecting that in this book. Also, the action is really, really well done and easy to follow, which is not easy to do when you're having like a big, huge battle. But yeah, it was easy to follow and really well written in a way that I think if you like fantasy, you would like this book. So have you read any of these books? What do you think of these books? If you've never read any of these books, which of these books are you going to read? If you're not going to read any of these books, that's fine. Thanks for watching. And have a day. Bye. Robots.